Hey everybody, Robin here. Welcome to my channel, Oracle Rising. Namaste, guys. I wanted to talk about forgiveness today and how to forgive yourself and others, and hopefully give you some tips on moving on with your life. So, coming from somebody that used to be sort of a champion grudge holder, I hope this has some merit for you. And another point I wanted to make is that it's possible to forgive somebody without allowing them back into your life. Forgiveness is really important, especially if you're on some sort of ascension path and it takes up way too much time and space to hold grudges. So I wanted to start with a little bit of a list, and I've got 6 points here in my trusty notebook. I have the best notebook of all time here, you guys. I just wanted to show it to you quickly while I fumble away. It says follow your dreams. So I think this was really cool. But anyway, oops, I'm on the wrong page now. So there's something called the Ho'oponopono chant. It's kind of a poem. And it goes like this: I forgive you, I'm sorry, thank you, I love you. So it's something that can be repeated, and I believe it's Jason Stevenson does a sleep meditation, a sleep Ho'oponopono chant. And he's got a really good voice, so it's not too irritating if you're trying to sleep through it. So you might want to check that out, or you might want to put that poem somewhere so that you can really start to move along on your path. If anybody has ever not forgiven somebody, including yourself, you know how that feels in the pit of your stomach, and to carry that with you and seeing references about that person can be really, really difficult, because it just kind of triggers you back up again. And you might be thinking that forgiveness is really hard to do, but I've seen really difficult cases, like on the news and stuff like that. Well, I was still watching the news about how a family would go in and forgive somebody for taking one of their family members through, homicide or something like that. And it's always important to remember that forgiveness is for you. It can be about the other person, but at the baseline, forgiveness is for you. So when you see stuff like that happening, you're like, how can they ever forgive that person? It's so that you can heal and move on. So the second point I have here is to observe a different perspective. I think this one is really important. I was watching this interview, and I believe she was an FBI or CIA agent, and she would interview people about certain massive events, so you can just kind of pick one from the catalog of what's going on out there in the news. And she said there was one thing that really struck her, is when she was interviewing terrorists, or the good guys, probably the US, but anyway, I'm gonna zip it on that. She said both sides always thought they were right, so, and when you are so obscured by a feeling of hatred or loathing, it can really start to gloss over events and fine tune things to kind of support the way that you feel like you're right. So if you start to look at things from an outside perspective, you might be able to gain a little bit more insight into what actually happened. When people are interviewed at an accident site, if there's 17 witnesses, there's probably going to be 17 different stories. So it's really important to remember that. And if you've had an argument with somebody and it gets a little heated, chances are you're not going to remember what you said verbatim, never mind what somebody else said. So you might want to talk to other people, get calmed down, move on. Again, you don't have to offer an apology if you don't want to, but you can just sort of forgive and move on. Okay, so search for the meaning or lesson in the painful situation. Sometimes things are brought into you so that you can be triggered, and why is it triggering you? There's probably some healing work that needs to be done. And Miss Lacey has arrived. Hello. I'm not too sure what she wants. Hi. Just gonna pause. Okay, so she's gonna sit with me, but off camera. Okay, so angel number 444 just came up, you guys, so that's really important when you see these angel numbers during one of my talks or during one of my tarot readings. check them out. So anyway, searching for the meaning or lesson in the painful situation. Um, I hear that in Steve Noble meditations, and I do quite a bit of his meditations because he's awesome. And he says something that is really profound, is that I accept the lesson that my pain is offering me. So sometimes people are brought into your life so that they can set you off. So you can have a look at, like, why does that even bother me anymore? Is it something from your childhood that rears its ugly head when somebody says or does a certain thing? So you kind of have to check out things like that, you guys. And it's going to be different for everybody. So the fourth thing is something that my grandmother taught me. And I always thought she was a bit of a... she was eccentric, let's just put it that way. So she said she wouldn't confront people. What she would do is she would write a letter to the attention of whoever was, her flavor of the week, and whoever was annoying her. And she would write out everything, all these points, and, and she had a rough life. But anyway, so she would write it and then put it in an envelope and never mail it. And then she would read it sometimes, and then when things stopped bothering her anymore, she would cross it out of the letter. And I really like that approach. It doesn't work for me because I just don't like doing it that way. I have other methods of providing forgiveness to myself and others, and here I'm patting myself in the camera because anyway. So that might be something that you want to try, or just do like bullet points, like put somebody's name on a Post-it note and, whatever, jerk, rude, loud, mouth breather. Just sort of start crossing them off as you go through. Lacey, you're a mouth breather sometimes too. So, okay, this one is really important. The fifth one is to rise above retaliation to self and others. People get so stuck in this, I have to get back at that other person, and you see this all the time on Facebook where people are having arguments in the comments, and I'm like, can't you guys pick up the phone? Getting back and sort of escalating, and you see this with, countries that are at war and people that don't like each other and rival gangs. Well, you hurt one of us, so we have to come back and hurt one of you. And that is just ridiculous, because then it escalates, and look at where the world is right now. And that is because people can't exercise forgiveness, so you have to take the high road, and it's not always easy, and that was something, where I used to work, that my boss, she would always say, I'm so impressed that you always take the high road. I'm like, well, it's not easy, but I feel like it makes me a stronger person, because there's some really brutally rude people where I've used to work, like in any workplace, and I would just not rise to it. I would just kind of like, okay, well, whatever, have your own way. And then sort of forgive that person and say, yeah, that's okay, whatever. I'm just going to go on and mind my own business, because I just can't be bothered to get in that sort of entanglement anymore. So the sixth point I have here is forgiveness affirmations and meditations. So, there's tons of YouTube stuff out there, you guys, and I use YouTube all the time. I'm a big fan of YouTube. It's something that you can play in the background, and then you can repeat it after, when they say, I forgive you, I forgive myself, whatever meditation or affirmations that you happen to come across for your forgiveness. While you're getting ready or cooking dinner or whatever, you're walking the dog, and I probably shouldn't have said that out loud, but forgiveness, again, it's for you. It's such a poison to hang on to anger and hatred and jealousy and all of that stuff, and it can really impact your health. It can impact other relationships. It can make you very, very difficult to be around, because you're holding on to some sort of pain and everything triggers you. So, so you have a choice to make. You can either fester or you can forgive. So, very important, especially where we are in the world right now. People are just walking on eggshells and people are just ready to pull the pin and pop off. So being able to forgive other people, because you honestly don't know what other people have been through, what their day has been like. So, if somebody snaps at you, just shrug it off, be the stronger person, be the bigger person, and kind of keep on moving on, and look at your situation and get help if you need to, and just try and bring peace and calm to your own vibe, guys. So I'm gonna wrap it up there and go give my dog a hug. So guys, namaste, take care, bye.